disk first, then we'll see remaining part. So yesterday we already discussed about certain storage devices like a tape drives. I already told tape drives are still using. Okay, floppy disk we are not using, but tape drives still we are using. One is like a CC cameras regarding. So of course recently CC cameras are used by so many organizations and including individual houses, shops we are using. But there are storing the data into hard disk. So that hard disk is limited capacity, like 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 3 terabyte, or 4 terabyte of hard disk, but limited capacity. And mainly those are having a time limit, like so only last 1 week recording. So based on the capacity, so the previous day videos will be automatically removed from by using certain softwares. Of course, most of the people are using CC cams as a dummy pieces. Certain organizations, they store CC cams into the um, tape drives only, so that they can store the tape drive video store for a 1 month, 2 months. Some are used for 1 year. Okay, like that. Okay, so physical drive it is. Second one is tape drives are mainly for mass backup storage, not just a backup storage, mass backup storage, like large amount of data are there. So it is not recommended to store in a regular hard disk, to store external hard disk in mainly in organizations, not a personal purpose. Like you have a laptop, you want to take a backup. We don't use tape drives, right? We use a better external hard disk. Okay. So in organizations means enterprises, they use tape drives as a backup storage device. Even cloud backups, like you have an account in AWS or Azure, okay, and you have a data that you want to take a backup. And there is a snow service, some snowball service, something is there. That is they use to back up your data into the tape drives, because it is tape drives are cheaper. Zip drives usually in olden days they want to install operating system from the copy operating system OS image they have taken, and they will copy into other PCs. So that is called they use these zip drives. It is like a look like a floppy drive, but is bigger size. Means density is higher. So like floppy drive is a 1.44 MB, but zip drives are 100 MB, 200 MB, 300 MB type of sizes. Of course, zip drives maybe now people are not using, because the pen drives we got it is very easy. CD, of course, we are currently CD, DVDs, we are not using much. Okay, very less, very less. If you have a CD, DVD, then you have to buy external CD-ROM for purpose, USB based. Of course, DVD writers are not. We are not using DVD players. Also, we are not using now. Everything is OTT. Okay. Next level, guys. It is, yeah. We discuss all these things, right? Already internal hard disk, external hard disk, eMMC, where is store, SSDs, pen drives. So these are the different type of storages currently we are using. Okay, so to store our operating system or an application or maybe a data to store. This part little clumsy, guys. Why? Because of 2 and 4 type of models are there. But follow my my way, so that's the important. Look at here. It is a hard disk. This is our regular hard disk. So you can see there is a round one, that is a plotter. Data stores in that plotter only. Okay, it is contains magnetic coating. Okay, so there is a spindle motor which rotates this plotter. Okay, this actuator arm will move to inside to outside, and there is a tape. On the tape there is a header. It is a mass storage device. It is non-volatile storage device. It means even you disconnect the hard disk from computer, still data will be there inside the hard disk. Okay. So these hard disks having a two type of interfaces. One is PATA interface, SATA interface. Some people call this PATA interface as a IDE interface also. But IDE is a technology to connect hard disk and transfer the data from your system to hard disk. That is the IDE technology on motherboard. And IDE interface is there earlier days, that is called 80 pin interface is there, parallel interface. Later IDE become ATA, advanced technology attachments. Don't need to all the story, guys. So hard disk is two interfaces. ATA means PATA, SATA. ATM means advanced technology attachment. PATA, parallel advanced technology attachment. SATA, serial advanced technology attachment. PATA interfaces we used earlier days, so it is 40 pin connector. So there we use a ribbon cable to connect the PATA hard disk. SATA hard disk, whereas SATA hard disk is 7 pin connector. It's a serial wire. It is a single wire, of course. It's a 7 pin single cable. So not single wire, it is single cable I have to use. And whereas SATA is a faster than PATA. So if you want to search, try what is the PATA interface data transmission speed and what is the PATA interfaces data transmission speed. After SATA is introduced, PATA interfaces stop developed that PATA technology, PATA type of interfaces. People are stopped. Okay, the organized companies, not users. Okay. Of course, SATA become more popular since SATA is further developed up to SATA 3 interface is going on. SATA 3 version, that is 6 Gbps data transmission speed. This is how PATA hard disk is look like. There is a 40 pin connector. Okay, there is a cable. You can see there is a blue end is there, black and white. The blue one is going to motherboard, the black one and white one is go to hard disk. Means one ribbon cable you can connect two disk drives. Two disk drives means two hard disks, two CD-ROM, one hard disk, one CD-ROM also you can able to connect it. Only one hard disk you want to connect, remaining you want to don't want to connect also you can do it. But if you connect to both the hard disks, then you have to configure as a primary, secondary kind of master slave configuration is there. Later the name change it to primary and secondary. Next one is SATA hard disk. SATA hard disk is, yeah.
Sir, is there a difference between the primary and the secondary attachment? Like in functioning, is there a difference or both work the same way? Because one is master and the other is slave. So do they have any priority?
Yeah, master is main priority part. In general, in very old days, they use a master and slave. Okay, in that configuration, master like you install operating system, better be in the master hard disk. Okay, if you in better in a master hard disk. So you want to add another hard disk just for a data purpose, then which is a slave. Okay, but important is it's not about a master and slave, just to separate the hard disk connectivity. It's not like a what we can say system will understand there is a two hard disk. That's it. It is nothing
Oh,
like this is the main, this is the secondary one. So just for a differentiation purpose. For
okay.
example, this is a data disk. It means it contains only data, no OS. But this is having OS. This is secondary. So OS boot from second one only. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Because lot of things are keep changing from since like in 1960s to now. Lot of changes are occurred. Okay, when I know the computer 1995, that time means not 1995, don't know computer. I know from 2001, 2000 onwards only. But I use Windows 95, 98, 97. The installations, priorities, primary partition, active partition. So a lot of settings are there. Okay, now it is not there. It's simple, very simple nowadays installation of operating system. That time compulsory, it's a master must have an operating system because system easily understand master as a primary disk. Okay. So that is a pin can based on pin jumper settings. It will decide. Okay. Even SCSI is also having a pin configurations. Yeah. Okay. SATA guys, serial advanced technology attachment. So this is the data connector. This is the power connector. The second one you can see bigger. That is a power connector. SATA power connector is look like this one. See black one. This is the SATA hard disk or a CD DVD power connector. This is SATA type of disk and some SATA type of disk means initial days of SATA disk also having this Malax connector, but now we are using this SATA connectors. Where is this SATA? This is a data cable. The red one is data cable. This is Malax connector, like a this world style. But this is the where power goes, power connector. And already I told, but again I'm telling guys, in a hard disk, so you go to the 2.5 inches hard disk or a 3.5 inches hard disk are there for internal hard disk. What is this 3.5? That is desktop based hard disk. It is look like a heavy hard disk. Okay, it is we used for a desktop purpose. It is look like this bigger size. This is the bigger hard disk. Okay, 2.5 inches or smaller, which is we use in a laptops. See, this is 3.5. This is 2.5. We use it for laptops, mini PCs kind of there. So we use that kind of stuff. And of course, external hard disk also there. So if you want to use an external hard disk like this. So what is the use of this external hard disk? Not to store your operating system or application, to store your data. Means maybe application files, operating system images files, or maybe your regular data. You can store here, backups, storage purpose, and you want to transfer heavy data. For example, these external hard disks are a bigger sizes. Like I have a 320 GB, 160 GB is also there in that time. But 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte of external hard disk are available. Even 3 terabytes, 1.5, 6 terabytes, 4 terabytes of external hard disk are available. Mainly, what is the main purpose of this external hard disk is to store huge amount of data which you don't want to store in your system, like a movies kind of stuff, music files. You no longer require in your PC, so you can transfer there, or maybe you want to put a backup, or maybe for a transferring heavy data like a 10 GB, 20 GB, you want to transfer, you can use external hard disk. Next. Okay, so these are the small points. So this is about a partitioning part and file system. We'll come back to that one. So we discussed about a hard disk and better to discuss about a SSD. Okay, guys. So what is SSD? In when I started no, from or as a chapter, SSDs names we have SSD name, CMOS name, BIOS name. If you know the abbreviation, that is you know the computer. In the olden days, what it is, if you know abbreviations, SSD, solid state drive, SCSI, small computer system interface, BIOS, basic input output system, CMOS, complementary metal oxide semiconductor, SATA, a serial advanced technology attachment, PATA, parallel advanced technology attachment, IDE, integrated drive electronics, or device electronics, or drive electronics. Okay, so that abbreviation, so you know the computer, but recently, from last 5 to 6 years, this SSDs become more popular. Okay, because of availability of SSDs are increases, size of SSDs also increases. Okay, SSD is also NAND memory. What is this NAND memory? Like you are using a pen drives, memory cards. These are all NAND memories only. It is not a magnetic memories. It is, they don't use magnetic material inside. They use a chips inside. So data stores in these chips. In a hard disk, data stores in platter, but data stores in SSD in a chips. It is a NAND memory. Of course, it is a non-volatile, so we can connect and disconnect it. Okay. When you connect or disconnect, so data still remains in the SSD. Compared to hard disk, SSDs are lightweight, easy to carry, easy to transport, and very less power consumptions, and smaller in the size also. Smaller in the size. SSDs will give you a high speed data transmission, read and write speed is high, data transmission speed is high. It is suitable for a operating system and application. Means you install operating system and applications in SSDs, faster booting is possible. You power on the system, so very less time, means within the less than 1 or 2 seconds. So your system will boot. Of course, if you keep using a lot of application startups, boot speed will reduce, but still boot speed increases, system boot speed increases, and applications running of applications also very good. Like you want to play a game, SSDs are best. So more faster it will able to. But not suitable for a mass storage of data kind of stuff. Why? Because of compared to SSD, hard disks are cheaper, or compared to hard disk, SSDs are costly. Okay, you want to buy 1 terabyte of SSD. 1 terabyte of SSD. It is cost is around 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 rupees cost. Okay, 1 terabyte of hard disk is 3 to 4,000, between 3 to 4,000. Okay, 1 terabyte of hard SSD is around 8 to 9,000. Means you can buy at least 2 to 4 terabytes of hard disk. 1 second. Hello. Not required only. No requirement. Costly. Okay, so these are the difference between hard disk and SSDs, guys. So practice these small things are very easy to give an answer. Only important is, guys, practice. Max to max, you have a general knowledge. So most of the technical part is like a basic points only. But if you don't practice, you can't able to speak. That's the thing. Okay, technical interview. So basic knowledge base initially. So maybe based on a person to person interview questions may changes, but practice. And already I shared yesterday certain questions with answers, guys. The question and answers from Sai Processor only. He actually dealing with these HCL batches since last 2 to 3 years, mostly more than 3 years. He's handling. So he write the question answers, right, for our students. So he gave it to me, I gave it to you. So compulsory start reading that one. So give at least half an hour, 1 hour for this SSD. Once your version test is started, then you are busy with version test. But once version test completed, very next day or maybe within 1 or 2 days, so you will face the technical interview. So I don't know when technical interview, but mostly it is very less time only. You don't get 2 3 days, as I know, as I seen from earlier. So for example, your version test is on Saturday, then mostly Sunday or Monday, your technical interview, not technical test. It is face-to-face interview. So basic all questions, please prepare. What is service desk? What is a service desk? Type of service desk, or maybe event, alert, incident, column, service request, difference between incident and service request. Okay, what is SPOC? Okay, what are the ticket and other things like a basic hardware related, basic networking related, please prepare. Basic services related, how to check system configuration, basic things only, but practice, not only reading guys. Once you read, so try to tell an answer, like you are attending an interview, you have to tell an answer. That is important. How much knowledge you have, that is secondary point. How much you are easily you are presenting at a time of interview, that is very important. Okay, so yeah, we'll continue. Sorry. So SSD, also two type of interfaces, guys. One is SATA interface SSDs, NVMe.M.2 type of SSD. These two SSDs. The second one, you can see the Samsung one, which is look like a very smaller, right? So this M.2 type of SSDs directly we can insert on a motherboard. We can insert into the motherboard. So NVMe M.2 SSD. Okay, so also I will tell the slot. See, on motherboard, this is on laptop. I think this is on laptop. They're inserted. This is on laptop. Okay, on laptop, it is directly inserted. So I'm showing this is an interface on the motherboard. You can directly insert like this. So it is very near, not through the cable. So directly connected, just like a RAM, how you connected, it is also we can able to connect it. Okay. Here some arrangement is also there for a PCI adapter kind of stuff. Okay. No, but this is SATA type of interface. This is NVMe type interface. It is like this. So you have to insert it. Okay. So this is better. Even it is costlier than this one, but faster than SATA SSD. SSD is faster than hard disk, but this NVMe non-volatile memory M.2 type of this NVMe M.2 type of SSDs are faster than SATA SSDs. Little costlier than a SATA SSD. Of course, cost is difference is there, but it is we can insert directly like on motherboard. Okay, even it is a laptop or a desktop motherboards, there is a connectors we can connect. We can insert it directly. Read or write up to we can read and write speed is also higher as compared to SSD. That's what I'm trying. It is faster, guys. Some people think like, sir, my system is slow. I want to change my SATA hard disk to SATA SSD. Not much difference, guys. Not much differences. You feel difference. Why? Because of this laptop I'm using. I'm using since 2015. This laptop purchased at 2013, as I know. So my sister laptop it is. So and from 2014, 15, 14, 15, I think so. 15 I am using. Okay. So earlier it is good, but what happened when I'm using a lot of applications, lot of applications, lot of data, lot of work. Okay, so what happened? System become a slower. Why system become a slower? Because of lot of applications, background applications, startups, services. So thus all belong, all put a more on my RAM and processor. Even I increase my RAM. This laptop when it is purchased, it is a 4 GB RAM. Now it is 12 GB RAM. Even with the 12 GB RAM, also lot of utilization. Okay, utility is very high. So why? Because of I'm keep using. For example, if I format my PC, it become faster because only operating system and one or two applications. Okay, so that's the point, guys. To speed up your system, it is one is of course your storage type, like you use a SATA hard disk or a SSD. Of course, there is a difference, but still you have a lot of applications in your PC, startups in your PC, background services, apps. So that causes also your system slower. This is the difference between hard disk and CD-ROM. So none is added, subtracted. Guys, just 1 minute, relax. Okay. So I will tell about this part and we'll take a break. Okay, guys. So can you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So if you look at the screen, so initialize the disk. So already I have a two hard disk 0, disk 1, and this is the disk 2. This is the disk management window. You can go to this disk management window by go to run, type disk management, disk mgmt.msc. Okay. So what we can able to do, so we can initialize the disk, we can offline online the disk, we can convert a basic disk to a dynamic disk, we can convert MBR to GPT, we can create a partitions. Okay, you can create a partition, we can shrink the partition, we can extend the partition, we can delete the partitions. Also, we can do write volumes also. Okay. So those are the things we can do with this disk management. But here I am showing I inserted a new hard disk. The hard disk, when I inserted, it is asking, it is telling not initialized. It is telling it is not initialized. So I have to initialize the disk as a MBR or a GPT. I have to initialize as a either MBR or GPT. What is MBR? Master boot record. Okay, so I inserting a disk. So I have to initialize this one as an MBR or a GPT. Okay. So for example, I initialize as a MBR. MBR means master boot record. Master boot record. It's with mouse difficult. Okay. Master boot record. So if I initialize as a MBR, then what will happen? Let's see. I can create partitions. Okay, but there is a limit of partitions there. So I can create 4 primary partitions. As I said earlier, in a olden days time, so we have a choice. You want to create a primary or extended partition. So like that, you can create a 4 primary partitions before Windows 7 or Windows Vista. Okay. ఏదైనా పర్వాలేదు ఏదైనా పర్వాలేదు. Okay, I can initialize as a, sorry, if I initialize as a MBR, I can create 4 primary partitions. Okay, before Vista time. So for example, you have taken a 500 GB hard disk. Okay, for example, this is a 50 GB, 50 GB, 50 GB, 50 GB. So what happened? 200 GB done. But about the remaining 300 GB, you can't do anything. If in case any disk space is left over, you cannot do anything with it. So you have to plan properly, but sometimes there is a limitations also there. As I said, we can create maximum of 4 primary partitions. Okay, or we'll create only 3 primary, but I need more partition, not 4. I need at least 6 or 7 partitions are required for my system. So I'll create a 3 primary and the remaining become extended partition. The remaining become extended partition. 3 primary completed and remaining is extended partition. If you are using from Windows Vista onwards, Vista 7 onwards, it is once 3 primaries are completed, automatically 4th one will create in the extended partition. The 4th one will be created in the extended partition like this. Okay, the overall it is extended partition. The remaining entirely, so this is extended partition. So inside extended, the 4th one become logical partition. So understand, once 3 primary is completed, still you are creating fourth one. Okay, so still you want to create a fourth one, it will be created as a logical partition in the extended. So remaining unallocated space become single, become extended. Inside extended, we create a logical partition. For example, again, I'm taking 500 GB. For example, this is 100, this is 50, this is 50, for example. Now it is 200 completed. Now I'm creating some 20 GB. For example, I'm creating 20 GB. This 20 GB become logical drive in the extended partition. Like this, it can create any partition. Okay, you can create a multiple logical partitions. You can able to create it like this. Okay, so in extended, we can create a logical drives. Not logical partition. This is called a logical drive because partitioning itself logical, not physical, right? So it's a logical partitions. All partitions are logical partitions. These partitions we call it as a logical drive. And why we need a partition? To store data separately. For example, I want to store OS in the first partition. I want to store my drivers, some applications, some data, music files. So I will store in a different partition. Okay. You want to install OS, you can install OS in the primary partition. Okay. So that's why we need a primary source. Yeah, tell me.
The fourth part is necessarily extended, or we can choose that whether it will be extended or it will be another primary.
If you up to 3 means you have a 500 GB, for example, you taken 200 GB and 200 GB, 100 GB, for example. 3 primaries completed completely, you can utilize. But you don't get a choice. Like you can, I want to create a primary, I want to create extended, you cannot choose. From Windows
No,
Vista onwards. Earlier
uh,
it is.
if the is there, if fourth part is there, then it will be extended only.
Yeah, if you are, for example, this is 100, 200, 100,
So
100, 400 completed. You want to create another 100, it is under extended logical partition.
okay, sir.
Okay. So, so this is, remember. Okay, guys. So 4 primary or 3 primary and extended, remaining part is extended. So in the extended, we can create multiple logical drives. Next, each partition size is up to 2 terabytes. Up to 2 terabyte. Each partition size is up to 2 terabytes. More than 2 terabytes, you cannot create. Okay, I will show you I will try to show you because if I am trying, the time is entirely putting into that. In GPT, GUID partition table, 128 primary partitions you can able to create. Good now. So here we don't have any extended or logical. So we'll get a 128 primary partitions you can able to create. Exactly say those are not primary. The word is not primary there because there is no extended there. Okay, okay. So no problem. Okay. So 128 primary partitions, no extended, no logical drives kind of stuff, and it support more than 2 terabytes. Partition size is more than 2 terabytes. It is up to, as per certain textbooks, some official textbooks, 18 EB each partition size. Okay, so not this one. Yeah, here it is. MBR and GPT. 4 primary partitions are 3 primary partitions and 1 extended partition. The remaining is extended partition. In one extended, we can create a multiple logical drives. Only one extended, guys. The multiple extendeds won't be there. As you know, partition size support up to 2 terabyte. What is GPT? GUID partition table. It is 128 partitions we can create it. There is no extended, no logical. Partition size support more than 2 terabyte up to 18 EB. Okay. And what is this MBR and GPT? It is called a partition style. It is called a partition styles. Not types, it is actually partition styles, sir, MBR and GPT. When you connect a new fresh hard disk, you are connected new fresh hard disk. Fresh hard disk, you put it means no partitions, no earlier partitions, no data, nothing is there. It is a fresh hard disk. When you connect, it will ask you, do you want to initialize as a MBR or a GPT? And another one, guys, you take a fresh computer, laptop or a desktop. It is fresh one. Hard disk does not contain anything. Fresh hard disk in the fresh computer. You want to install an operating system. Okay, depends upon your OS and BIOS or UEFI. So this hard disk will be initialized either MBR or GPT. Okay, you are installing new operating system. For example, my BIOS is UEFI type. Okay, universal, not universal, unified extensible firmware interface. That is a new version of BIOS. Okay, mine is UEFI hardware. I'm installing Windows 10. Okay, I'm installing Windows 10. My hard disk will be initialized as a GPT automatically. Okay. For example, I'm using Windows 10. I'm installing Windows 10, but my BIOS is BIOS only, not UF. BIOS is BIOS, not U. So my operating system initialize this disk as a MBR type automatically. Okay. For example, I'm using BIOS and old operating system means put a limit like a Windows 8. Previous to Windows 8, MBR. After Windows 8, Windows 8 and after Windows 8 is GPT, support operating system. Okay, Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 10, GPT supporting operating system. Up to Windows 7, it is MBR supporting operating system. Okay, so Windows 7 and older MBR, Windows 8 and later is GPT supporting operating systems. But again, BIOS, you take a BIOS, MBR. Okay, you have a UEFI, GPT. Okay, so that is also difference is there. That's only I have written here, nothing more. MBR and GPT. Guys, I will show you small thing, just like I want to go to run disk mgmt.msc. That is will take you to disk management. Actually, I have a two hard disk, disk 0 and disk 1. This is a disk 0, my starting disk with Windows 8. This is convert into MBR, meaning is the disk is GPT disk. If you see this convert into GPT, means it is MBR disk. The second one is MBR disk. This is the GPT disk, this is MBR disk. Okay, this is a G drive, E drive, H drive. Okay, so in my H drive, okay, I have a H drive itself 531 GB. It is a total 1 terabyte of disk. It is totally 1 terabyte of disk. It is. This is 500 GB. This is 1 terabyte. Okay. So, but my H drive is already having 88.7 GB free. Okay. See, 88.7 GB only available. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm going to shrink it. What is shrinking volume? So you have a 88.7 GB is there. I want to take some part from that free space and I will create another volume from that free space. Okay. So what is shrinking volume? You have a drive, the drive having some free space. From that free space, you want to cut some volume out. Then we use a shrink. So I'm shrinking the volume. I can do up to 88.7 means around 90 GB. I can able to take it around 88.7 GB. I can able to take it. That much free space is there. But I'm taking only 40 GB 4096. 40 means 4 into 10 to the power. Oh, sorry. GB, right? This is MBs. GB to MB 1024. Okay, 1 GB is equal to 1024 MB, 4 GB 4096. Okay, 4096, 4 into 1024. And 40 means 0 extra. This is now 40 GB. I'm taking from free space of 88. Now 88.7 minus 40. How much? 48.7 is free space. Okay, my free space is reduced. So this is 40 GB unallocated is created. So one primary, second primary, third primary. The blue line represents primary partitions. Okay, this is unallocated. The black one is unallocated means no drive, nothing is inside. I want to create a 10 GB in the 40 GB. This unallocated, I am going to create 10 GB inside. Yeah, before going to that one, guys, this is H drive. Right click on this H drive only. Can you see extend volume? What is the meaning of extend volume? I can add some space from this unallocated to this drive. I can add some space from this unallocated to H drive. Okay. What is extended volume? So can you see it is 491.59. I will add a 10 GB from there to here. See, I right click, extend volume, next. Okay. So here, this out of this 40 GB unallocated, I'm adding a 10 GB to my H drive again. So it is become, see, 501.51. So if you look at here, refresh, now 58.7 free, it is 501 GB drive. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this is shrinking and extending. This is 30 GB unallocated. I'm going to create a new simple volume. New simple volume to create a drive. I'm creating a 10 GB drive 1024. 0. So 10 GB simple drive I'm creating. Already I told it is not telling primary or secondary primary partition or a extended or logical partition. It is not showing. From Windows Vista onwards, it stops showing. Windows 7 confidently we don't You don't show that kind of stuff. Okay. Okay, it is asking which file system, NTFS or FAT file system. I use NTFS only. So remaining is like this. Next. To the green full border, can you see this entire 30 GB, entire this 30 GB in one single extended partition. Okay, you can see extended partition. And this 10 GB is a logical drive. This 10 GB is a logical drive and 20 GB is a free space. You can see this kind of blue color is a logical drive. This is free space. This is extended. Okay. So I created a new volume. This is I drive. So see, 10 GB volume is created. Okay. So like this, from 20 GB, you want to create one more. Yes, you can. I want to create one more. Like I want to create a only 4 GB drive. Okay. See it is. Still I have a 16 GB free space. So this is my MBR. That is a possibility that once 3 primary completed, the fourth one is not fourth one. Once first 3 completed, 3 primary completed, when you create a fourth one, the entire remaining unallocated become one single extended partition. Okay, so so you will create a logical drives in this extended partition. Okay. What to do now? So how to delete the partition? Now I no longer these partitions. I'm deleting volumes. I deleted this volume. I deleted. Guys, don't do in your PC. Okay, be careful when you are doing in PC. You have required a pre-practice. Usually, like a virtual machine, you practice. Then you can try on your physical machine. By accidentally you delete any volume, it is very dangerous. For example, if I delete a H drive, I will lose more than 400 GB data. Okay, that's careful. So this is still extended volume. It is an extended volume free space. If I create a new volume, I can create it. Automatically, I will create a logical drive inside. And also, I am removing this extended volume also. Now unallocated. I want to add this on 30 GB unallocated to H drive. So H drive, right click, extend volume, finish. That is completed. So 3 primary only adjusted. This is having so many drives. Can you see? Drive letters are not there. Only 3 are having drive letters, but remaining having a drives only without drive letters. So what are those things? Also primary partitions. Okay. Each one store different type of information.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, can we use all operations in external hard disk?
For partitioning,
Yes, sir.
external hard disk, I think we can do partitioning. But my preference is don't do it. So you will get confused. Okay, when you connect it will, if you make it as a 2 partitions, it shows 2 partitions where you store data kind of stuff. Better to create a folders, separate folders. Okay, so each folder, so what kind of data it is, like movies folder, put all movies inside kind of stuff. You can do in an external hard disk also.
Yes, sir.
But not suggestible, right? I never done that kind of stuff. Okay, guys, this is MBR and GPT differences, and you are already seen partitioning also. So when I'm doing partitioning, it is asking Do you want in a NTFS by default or a FAT? So I created a two partitions. One is I drive, another one is Z drive. I drive is NTFS file system and Z drive is a FAT file system. What is these file systems? First of all, guys, you want to store a data in a hard disk or a pen drive or external hard disk or a memory card, but they need a file allocation, means how to arrange these files in the particular storage. I will tell you a very simple example. When you went to some functions or a big halls, the chairs are arranged in a way so then multiple people, so a lot of people will sit very comfortable. Some places only even a bigger hall, less chairs will be full. Okay, lot of gaps. Okay, so point is arrangement. Best utilization of arrangement is important. Okay, so the file system defines how to store data in the particular format. So a lot of people think format means removing data. Like I have a pen drive. Could you format this pen drive? Means yes, sir. I will remove all entire data. No, guys. In the process of formatting, data may removed, but format means defining or redefining a file system. Without a file system, you cannot able to store data. In Windows, the more popular file systems are NTFS, next is FAT. In olden days, we use up to XP, we are generally using a FAT file system also. In XP, we use both, but FAT file system also we are using. Even if you go to old systems, it's mostly they use FAT file system type. Later, NTFS, people are start using. FAT supports 32 GB of single storage. In FAT also, FAT versions are there. FAT 16, FAT 12, FAT 16, FAT 32. So this FAT 12 and FAT 16, there is only 4 GB partition size. But FAT 32 support up to 32 GB partition size. Next one is NTFS. FAT abbreviation is File Allocation Table. NTFS, New Technology File System. New Technology File System. This support up to 2 terabytes, up to Windows XP. If you are using NTFS, that one single partition is 2 terabytes. But later NTFS versions are increases, then by each operating system. Okay, NTFS versions also updated. It is support more than 2 terabytes. It's around each partition size is 18 EB. Okay, it support 2 terabytes and more than 2 terabytes and maximum of 18 EB. Currently, NTFS support a single partition size is 18 EB. And this NTFS also provides certain features like security, encryption, compression, quota, and indexing. What is security? Okay. 5 minutes. Okay. What is this security, guys? The security means you have a file. Okay, so if any user want to read the file or write the file, the security is whether decide whether allow a particular user or a particular group of users can able to read the file or modify the file. That is security. And in NTFS we have encryption. We encrypt the file so no one able to access your file without encrypting key. We can compress the data so then we can able to save the disk. You can create a disk quota. Okay, you will create a disk quota so then users can store data in that quota limit only. They don't occupy entire your total disk space. Like you have 1 terabyte of space is there, but you given a user only 100 GB. So he will utilize 100 GB only, don't occupy entire remaining space. Okay, and you will guarantee you will get a 100 GB. So that is called this quota. Indexing, so data will be indexed, so then we can easy to search. So that is a FAT and NTFS. So simple points only, guys. You know SD cards. Normally, olden days we use SD cards for our mobile phones, right? So these SD cards are actually format with a FAT file system only, because NTFS is used to understand by other operating systems, other systems. NTFS is very simple. Sorry, FAT is very simple. So SD cards are basically FAT file system that are used. But nowadays these SD cards also bigger. More than 32 GB SD cards also came, right? Recently I seen that is 2 terabytes of SD cards also there. So for that purpose, EXFAT, extended FAT is came. It is support more than 32 GB SD cards. Okay, and of course, different operating system, different file systems are there. Linux and Unix use ext3, ext4, XFS file system. You share a data through network, that is NFS, network file system, common internet file system, Samba file system. And other device storage devices like a DVD, CD also use different file system. Okay, so mostly popularly used Windows based in Windows is FAT and NTFS. We are all using NTFS only, guys. FAT is very less, very less. So this is the difference between the file systems and some file systems. Okay. So after break, so we're going to discuss about some basic boot processing, and then I will start with the operating system. Okay.